Welcome back to day 2 Toxic Tuesdays. We had an opportunity the other week to actually share some of my journey talking through cheating, the different affairs, the different things that happen, the different mindsets, thought process. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that video, go back and watch that video. But a lot of times people will ask now, they'll be like, well, do you cheat now? Are there tendencies now? Do you want this now? Like, what's actually happening now? And that's what I want to be able to talk about today, and also talk about this piece of how to actually stop the cheating, how to actually bring yourself to a place of it no longer being a part of your life. So if you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness of narcissistic abuse. I work mainly with women who are trapped in toxic relationships to help them find freedom. And on Tuesdays, we take more of the toxic spin where I'm talking more to the guys and wanting to be able to just talk to who he is and what is actually going on, so you can actually find the freedom that you need to show up as an honest man. Because if you're not honest, nothing's going to shift and change. We talked about that even the last week of the aspect of lying. But today we're talking about the piece of cheating. Maybe you're a guy that's cheated repeatedly on the girl that you're with, and you keep telling her that you love her and that you care about her, but you keep cheating on her. So we need to just cut everything out and just be able to tell you really quick so that you understand you don't actually love this woman. You're just being an abusive asshole. So inside of this process of cheating, and you're trying to figure out, wait a second, but I actually do care about this person. Nobody cares that you say that. They just care about the demonstration. They care about the evidence, and they care about the results. Consider for a moment that if you go to work and you're supposed to produce a certain result, and all you do is show up and not do your job, but you say, I have a lot of effort, you're going to get fired. Unfortunately, we don't normally have that exact criteria inside of a marriage, or else you'd actually been fired from your marriage a long time ago, simply because of how you've been showing up in a negative and abusive way. But when we look at this, you will think that you've spent so much effort, so much time. You're like, I bring home the paycheck, I do all this stuff. You actually don't do shit for your wife. And that's why we're in this problem. And that's why we're here, because you've been consistently, or on and off, cheating on her. And inside of this, you might be selling yourself a lie that you actually love or care about your wife. That's BS and is not even true. Because you're making a choice to be able to hurt her. And you might be like, well, she doesn't even know. She will eventually know. And you're also still making a choice to be able to pull away from her emotionally, mentally, sexually. And as a result, you're spending all that time with someone else, and you're breaking apart, disconnecting, and destroying your current relationship. And you might go to victim mode. Well, she's doing this. She's not accepting me. I get it. But the problem is, you are the one that's in charge of your results. So as a result, if she's actually pulling away, it's because you're making her feel unsafe. You're not making her feel emotionally secure in you. You're not actually holding space for her. So as a result, she's going to pull away from you, and you're going to pull away from her. Why? Because you're immature and you haven't processed your emotions, and you're just moving on to the next person thinking, this next person will save me. When in reality, nothing actually is going to change. Nothing's actually going to be different. You're just running like a coward tail between your legs, running to the next person, the next person, the next person, trying to get a fresh face that doesn't understand how toxic you actually are. So now that we've laid that, let's go ahead and talk about cheating. My life was filled with cheating. With my wife, cheating on her, like cheating to a place that I was doing things that were abusive. I was doing things that was causing a lot of gaslighting, mindfuckery that was happening inside of our relationship with people that were inside of our friend group that I was cheating with, that were interacting with us on a day-to-day basis. It was really bad. That it was really awful, just the emotional gaslighting that was happening to everybody to keep it all afloat and to keep it all together. So then on this process, I'd built these habits of over 5 different people that I cheated with. And it was this cycle, every year, every couple of years, it'd be this piece of well, I guess it's just happening again. I even thought to myself, one of the lame ass excuses that I had was, oh, this is just me. This is just what I struggle with. This is just my addiction. This is my curse. I just have to deal with this. Right? I'd flip it in a really weird frame. I just have to bear my cross and kind of move through this. Yeah, it was really screwed up because I'd find any way to be able to justify all the things that I was doing. So when we come to this place where we're talking about cheating and you're like, hey, I actually want to stop. One, understand that you have to get really honest. And then 2, you have to understand you have to actually want this for you. So don't get on this channel and be like, oh, my wife said if I don't stop cheating, she's going to leave me. Get off my channel and go somewhere else. Why? Because if you're changing for anyone else, it will not work and it will fall apart. And I've seen this happen every single time working with hundreds of different guys. The whole piece inside of here is you have to decide you want a different life for you. And if that ends up having you connected with your spouse, perfect. If that doesn't, you have to actually grow and develop you so you show up in a positive way. Otherwise, the same thing's going to happen over and over and over and over again, and it's never going to change. So, when we're talking through this cheating piece, how do you actually stop it? What does this actually mean? Like I said earlier, many people ask me, like, do you still cheat? Do you still want to cheat? And here's the thing you need to understand. If you sit on the couch and you eat junk food and you don't go to the gym, how easy is it to keep eating junk food? It's really, really easy because that's all you do. You just keep consuming it. This is great. I'm not going to do anything. Why? Going to the gym? That's hard work. Going to the gym? That takes effort. Going to the gym? That takes time. I'm not going to do that. Going to the store and actually meal planning and prepping? That takes time. That takes effort. So there's all these stories that someone will be fat and sit on the couch and not actually do anything for their actual physical body because they're telling themselves stories. The multiple different layers, multiple different aspects of it, telling themselves stories of why they're going to sit there. So inside of this, they become a victim to their circumstances. Then we move into a place where you're like, well, I want to stop cheating. Okay, well, stopping cheating means we have to stop eating the shit and start moving towards healthy. You're like, well, I don't even know how to do that. It happens up here. It starts off with your mindset, your thought process. Because what's going to spiral out is going to be how you think on a day-to-day basis about another person. And how that's going to spiral into thinking and fantasizing and dreaming and imagining about this person, being with this person, texting this person, communicating with this person. It all starts in your mind because what you think and then what you speak and then what you do. That's the order. So you're like, I don't want to cheat anymore. Okay, well, you need to start thinking differently. When you start thinking about the past supplier, you start thinking about the affair partner, you need to start closing those doors, breaking down how they actually look, breaking down how they actually think, breaking down the process, because otherwise you will sell yourself a version of reality that paints you as the victim and keeps you going from person to person to try to make yourself feel better. So what I had to do is I had to start breaking down the relationships and having in my mind, putting it down so it actually understand, hey, this actually isn't as good as what it actually is. I think it's good. It feels good. It sounds amazing. It feels amazing. But in reality, it's not because it's fake, it's false, it's lies, and it's actually not a true commitment and true investment. This is way easier said than done. So I'm not just glossing over it being like, oh, just do this. No, like you have to change the mindset, which is why I work on rewiring my mindset every single day inside of stacking, changing the frame, the thought that I'm thinking. Then I also had to pivot and I had to put a lot of pieces of gratitude towards my wife because I wasn't thankful for her. I didn't care about her. I cared about what I wanted. So I had to start shifting everything away from me to focus on her. How can I be grateful for her? How can I appreciate her? How can I thank her? How can all these things point me back to her in a positive way? That started to shift my frame as well. And then inside of this, I also had to come to the realization I had never truly tried with my wife. Ever. Because I was always looking at other people. I was always engaged in pornography. I was always moving to another relationship. I was doing all these other things, never even giving her a fair chance. So part of it came down to the simple fact. People ask her like, well, why did you pick your wife versus the other supplies? Because I decided I should probably give this a chance. Because I never did. And inside of that, I started to realize that it takes more effort to be with someone than it does just to cycle people. But there is a deeper connection, a relationship that is there when you do this. And it's hard because sitting on the other side. So like if you're watching this and you're a guy that's a cheater, sitting on the other side and me saying, hey, you can have a better relationship. You can have a more connected relationship. You can have like a relationship that like blows your mind with your wife. If you're willing to be honest, step up as a man, stop cheating and focus on shifting your mindset so you can focus on her, so you can actually engage in a positive way. That seems foreign to you. Why? Because you haven't even experienced it. Because all you've done is you're like, hey, I don't even know what it'd be like to be healthy. I don't even know what it'd be like to have a lower body fat percentage because I'm still sitting on the couch, shoving my face with chips and thinking this is great when in reality, I'm just becoming fat and I'm just becoming stupid because I'm not actually moving forward to help heal myself, but instead I'm leaving myself in this toxic state. As a guy watching this, if you're a cheater, I want you to know the shitty results you have in your life are a direct relation to you. That's it. Stop blaming your wife. Stop blaming your kids. Stop blaming your circumstances. Stop blaming your past. Stop blaming the abuse that happened to you when you were a child. Stop blaming all the other shit because right now you have a choice to make and that is for you. How are you going to show up as a healthy human? How are you going to show up as a man? It starts with not lying anymore, but telling the truth. It starts with not cheating anymore, but changing your thought process, your mindset, your fantasy, so you actually focus on the right thing. Because if you don't, you're going to continue to go down into this pit of shame and guilt and keep cycling through over and over, which will leave you still sitting on that proverbial couch over and over for a long period of time, telling yourself that you're a victim, making up stories that you actually love and care about your wife, talking and saying so many lies that confuse you to the place that you don't actually change anything about you, but you continue to do just you. When we talk through this piece of cheating and actually healing and growing and developing you, it starts with a level of you being honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, nothing else is going to shift, nothing else is going to change, and the results you've had for such a long period of time will stay the results that you've had for a long period of time. They will not get better, they will not develop, they will not grow. But you will continue to be the same guy that you've always been, that's been a liar, that's been a cheater, and is not moving forward. If this connects with you and you actually want help, not fake help, not just to say, oh, help me, and then you run away. If you actually want to do the work and actually have help doing this, please reach out. If you're a toxic guy that showed up as a liar or cheater, and you're like, hey, I don't want to do this anymore, and I actually am willing to put in the work for myself, not for anyone else, then go to rawmotivations.com today.